these heavy doors. If somebody got a fucking problem, we can check them. Using simple tools on these individuals. Now we're sitting in your living room and we feeling welcome. I don't fuck with social media, but that check mark turning blue. Never comparing the rankings, I was never number 2. From the greatest to a stranger, let's remind them who I am. It's the GATSBY like the great American. Novel scholar with the scripts, come get polished with the spits. Not the hardest or tallest, can demolish that boy is. Number 1 draft pick, just went undrafted. Now we taking on your city, we're the uncrowned kings. Ha, 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 Gatsby. Ha, 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 Gatsby. Ha, 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 Gatsby. Ha, 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 Gatsby. I know you feeling hollow. Suggest you bow and follow mercenaries in the castle. Alpha Charlie Delta Bravo. No Bravo, just Gustavo. Breaking blue on the side of life. But I know chemistry. My woman on the line. Grab some buckets so dismissive. You never see the vision.
Hell yeah, my name is James, and I'm an immigrant. Any other immigrants in the house? Make some noise! All right, there they are, round them up. No. Just lasso you. I'm Filipino, but I grew up in New Zealand. That's what this voice and accent combination is, so please let it wash over you. Just get used to it. I know this is a weird Pokemon combo, okay? You've never seen this before? Have you seen a human being with this face and accent before? No, right? That's why I look like the answer to the question, what would it look like if Bruno Mars was in Lord of the Rings? That's great. I love living here in Canada. I've moved here now. I love living here with this face accent. Because I feel like you can't even be racist to me with this face accent here in Canada. You can't. Like, if someone came up to me in Canada and was like, hey, go back to where you came from, I'd be like, which one? You know, like, be specific, fuckhead, you know? But I'm here now. I moved here a year and a half ago, which is really cool. And yeah, wow, oh my God, so supportive. That did not go that well in Alberta. People are like, get him, No, I moved here a year and a half ago. I actually recently applied for my permanent residency. I'm applying via my girlfriend because she was actually born here in Montreal, right? So she's able to sponsor me for my visa. But in order to get that visa, though, I have to prove that I'm in a real long-term relationship with my girlfriend, right? And to prove that, I had to send at least 20 photos of us together. I had to send 10 letters from our friends and family, and I had to send 10 bills with both of our names on it. And the whole thing's taking a year. And I'm like, bro, surely there's a faster way to prove that I'm in a real relationship with someone, you know? Like, what if I just sent you a sex tape? You know, like, what if... You know what I mean? Imagine that. They open a file, it's just a minute and a half of missionary. Like, what faster way to prove that you're in a real long-term relationship than sending a sex tape that's only 5 megabytes? Like, the file is called March 30 birthday treat.mp4. Brackets, no headache, you know? And you have to prove that you live together as well, right? So you sprinkle stuff in the sex tape to prove you live together, you know? So midway through fucking, right, halfway through, she just stops abruptly and she's like, oh, garbage night. And I have to be like, you know, I take the garbage out. The rest of the video is me like still hard separating recycling, like, Approved. So we've sent the application off now, and it's actually wild because now that we've applied for this, it's created like a new dynamic in our relationship, because now she has all the power in the relationship, because she gets to decide whether or not I get to stay here in Canada, right? And sometimes she'll use that power to fuck with me, you know, to joke around. Like the other day I was playing PlayStation, and she goes, hey, honey, can you please unload the dishwasher? And I was like, I'll do it later. And she was like, hello, immigration? We got a naughty boy here? And like, sometimes I'll play along, but whenever I play along, it's never as fun. Like, it always feels quite icky, you know? It feels weird. Like, recently I was in my bathtub in my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor like this, right? And then she entered the room and stood in the doorway and was like, honey, are you nearly finished in there? How much longer have you got? And I just went, yes, ma'am, yes. Please don't take away my visa, you know? Doesn't hit the same. Like a weird foreplay, you know? But yeah, man. I've loved moving here. I think the immigrants in the room can relate to this. It's weird when you move somewhere. I feel like a lot of weird things happen to you all the time. You know, like recently I got back from doing some stand-up overseas, and I landed at Toronto Airport at Pearson. And I got up to the immigration officer, right? And the guy was like, "Hey, what brings you to Canada?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm here to work. I've got a work permit." And he's like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I just said, "I'm a stand-up comedian." And he just looked at me and he went, "Do you need a permit for that?" And he just let me in. Bro, do you know how it feels to have a job so not taken seriously by anyone that you're a zero threat to national security? Not good. Dude, I was so happy I wasn't going through immigration like with my parents, my Filipino parents, because the last thing I need is for them to hear someone say that and be like, see, I told you, you know. You should listen to him, he's wearing a tie, you know. Bro, he didn't even look at my papers. He literally laughed in my face and just went, come on through. That's a security problem. That is an issue. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what this means? This means if ISIS wanted to sneak into Canada, all they would have to do is go up to the border and hand the officer a poster for a show and be like, it's a show called Jokes That Don't Bomb. Huh? You know, like an explosive hour of comedy, you know? Like, man, I'm here now, here in Canada. I've been thinking a lot about immigration lately, especially after moving here, because I've been thinking a lot about moving here versus moving from the Philippines to New Zealand when I was a little kid, when I was 8 years old. Because I got to say, those two experiences, super different, you know? And I think how different they are is depending on what country you've just come from, and when people find out that information, how they react to that, you know? Like, because when people find out you're from New Zealand, they're like, what are you doing here, you know? But when people find out you're from the Philippines, they're like, what are you doing here? You know, like it's like a little bit subtle, but it's different, you know? It also depends on where you come from, what reactions you get, and what labels you get too. You know, you'll get a different label. Like when people find out you're from the Philippines, what do they call you? Immigrant, right? The classic, right? The default, immigrant. But when people find out you moved from a Western country to a country like Canada, what do they call you? Expat, exactly. Does everyone here know what expat is? You guys know? All right, for those of you who don't know, expat is a word that comes from the Latin phrase expatria, which means immigrant, but white. I'm joking. I'm joking. Obviously, it doesn't mean that, right? It actually means someone who lives far away from their native country, but they may or may not stay. They may go back, they may stay, right? And but most of the time, 99% of the time, the people who identify as expats are white, right? And I've always wondered why that is. Why is that? And I think I've realized that maybe it's like white people's way of telling us like they have options, you know, like that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you guys telling us, like, you know, I don't have to be here, like that, you know? Like, have you ever tried telling an expat to go back to where he came from? They're just like, I'm trying, I'm just waiting for cheap flights. You know, like it's... But this is an expat now, right? And that's so confusing for a lot of people. Their brains fucking melt when I tell them that, you know? Like whenever they're like, hey, what's this? Where are you from? And I'm just like, I'm an expat. And they're like, is that near Indonesia? I thought the X was pronounced Zhao, you know? It was X-Zhao-Pat. But I'm here now, and like I said, I've been thinking a lot about immigration. I have, mainly because I think in the current political climate, a lot of people are very angry with immigrants. You know, a lot of people blaming immigrants for a lot of things going wrong with the world. Like recently I was on Facebook, and I read an article about immigration, and I went into the comment section, because I wanted to ruin my day. And I read this comment from someone that was really mean and angry, and it really hurt me, and I got really annoyed and affected by it. So I started writing a comment back. I was like, hey, man. And halfway through, I just stopped, and I was like, fuck, what do I even say to this person? You know, what do I say? Like, I don't know. So I just stopped, and I deleted everything, and I didn't send it, you know? And but it did get me thinking of the question, what does it actually mean to be an immigrant? You know, what does it actually mean to uplift your whole life and move somewhere else? Right? And I think for me and my family, the immigrant experience can be summed up by this idea of expectation versus reality, right? What you expect your new home to be like versus what it's actually like when you arrive there, when you get there, you know? And no one experienced this idea harder than my parents. Because when my parents moved to New Zealand, they did the classic immigrant parent thing that all immigrant parents do. They hit us. No. I'm joking. I mean, they did, but that's not what we're talking about. That's a different show. No, they both took really exhausting, laborious jobs that they were overqualified for just to make ends meet, right, to put food on the table. For example, my mum, when we moved to New Zealand, she took 3 minimum wage jobs, right, just to put food on the table. In the Philippines, she was a real estate agent. When we got to New Zealand, she would get up at 5 a.m. to go work at a bakery, and in the afternoon, she would work at 2 different nursing homes in the laundry just to make ends meet for our family, right? My dad did something else. My dad worked at a factory for 15 years of his life that made door handles, right? And in that 15 years, he didn't get a single raise, not a single promotion, and he worked so hard that at the end he had like RSI and like tremors in his left hand. It really fucked him up. And look, I know it's ironic that my dad opened doors for our family by working at a factory that opens doors, but he did do that, it's true, right? And that's what they did. That was their sacrifice for us. And recently I was thinking, I was like, fuck, I've never known struggle like that. You know what I mean? Like, look at this shit. I've never struggled. I look like at any given moment I've just come back from brunch. You know, like it's... You know what I mean? So feel how soft my hands are, bro. Feel soft. Yeah? It's good, right? Yeah, he's like, okay. Dude, whenever I used to date girls, like when I was single and I'd hold their hand for the first time, they'd be like, oh my God. It's like holding hands with a duvet, you know? My hands are the only hands in the world that have a thread count of 500, you know? I've never struggled, you know, I've never worked. And so recently what I did was I called up a temp agency, a work agency, and I said, hey, I'd like to work your hardest, most laborious, exhausting job you've got because I want to know what it was like for my parents. So please send me there. And they did, right? And they sent me to a factory that made parts for trucks, and I worked at that factory for 12 hours a day on my feet, lifting heavy parts and putting them on shelves. And in that month, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about who I actually am as a human being. For example, I learned that if I ever have kids, I wouldn't do the same for them. I'd be like, sorry kids, looks like it's cup noodles for dinner again. Not standing up for longer than 3 hours, fuck you. Here's the thing, I've never even met my hypothetical children, but I already know I don't love them enough to do that shit for them, okay? I had my own expectations shattered too when we moved to New Zealand. Like, for example, I didn't know anything about New Zealand when I was 7 before we moved. All I knew about New Zealand was from this one commercial in the Philippines that aired for a brand of milk called Anchor Milk. Filipinos in here, you guys remember the Anchor Milk commercial? Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, it was a commercial that starred a Filipino mother and daughter, right? And they stood in front of a beautiful mountain in New Zealand called Mount Taranaki, right? And they stood in front of it, and in the background, it was this beautiful meadow with cows and grass and fucking streams and shit. It's beautiful. And at one point in the commercial, the mom goes, and in New Zealand, the water's so clean. And the little girl goes up to the stream and goes, except less creepy. I don't know what the fuck that was. Just normal drinking. I don't know, whatever. Like, and she drinks the water, right? And as a 7-year-old, I was fucking obsessed with this ad. I was transfixed with it because I was 7 and I lived in Metro Manila, and I'd look outside my window and it was just like filthy and polluted and dirty, right? And so I was like obsessed with this because it was clean. It was like paradise. And I remember one day my mom came up to me and my sisters and was like, okay guys, I've got news. We're moving to New Zealand. And in my head, I was like, oh, fuck. We're going to paradise. That was my expectation, right? I was so excited. And we got on the plane and we moved to New Zealand. But when we got to New Zealand, we lived nowhere near those fucking mountains. We just lived in an average suburb in Auckland, right? It was rainy all the time. There were no cows. We got robbed our first week there. Like, basically what I'm saying is I got catfished by New Zealand. Like, for you guys, imagine you got told you were moving to Canada and they showed you a picture of Banff and you got here and it was fucking Regina. I got robbed. Oh, yeah, man. My parents had other realities shattered for them. Like, another one was that moving to a Western country meant their kids might turn their back on their traditional values, you know, and me and my sisters, we did that. We did. We actually hurt my parents sometimes, you know? Like, because for me, after high school, I got caught up in a world that I wasn't ready for. You know, I was mixing up with all these people that my parents didn't approve of, and I actually did something that really shocked my parents and their friends. And whenever I tell people this, they're always like, was it crime? Was it drugs? Nope, I went to drama school. That's right, I'm a stand-up comedian whose backup career is actor. You know how fucking stupid that is? And also, because here's the thing, if you guys don't understand, like, drama school is usually reserved for kids who had parents who said things to them like, remember, you can be whatever you want to be. Fucking immigrant parents aren't like that. Bro, immigrant parents are like, remember, you can be one of 3 things I chose for you. Fucking all 3 at the same time if you can. Like, this is no joke. My mom's dream job for me would have been the accountant at my own engineering firm who also moonlit as a surgeon. And this is not even a joke. I feel like every time I say this, it never gets a big laugh in the crowd because I can tell there's at least 3 Filipino aunties in here being like, so what's wrong with that? Seems like a reasonable request to me. Yeah, man. I remember when I went to drama school, I had so many like white classmates there, and they would never understand why my parents weren't supportive. You know, they were always like, "Do they not love you?" You know, I'm like, "Yeah, of course they love me. It's just they don't want me to waste the sacrifices that they've made by coming here." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And they never understood it, right? So what I did was I invented an analogy to help them understand, right, what it was like. And so I'll share that with you guys tonight, right? So for you guys, being an immigrant parent and having one of your kids want to go to drama school is a bit like. Imagine you're walking down the street, right, and you see a little kitten stuck up a tree, and you're like, oh my God, that poor kitten, someone has to help that kitten, you know? So you decide to do that, and you start climbing, but as you do that, you put your hand on the bark, and you realize that the bark is really sharp, and you're like, ah, and in your head, you're like, oh, never mind, going home, but then a voice in your head's like, nah, fuck that, do it for the kitten, do it for the kitten. So you keep climbing, you get about like halfway up, you realize it's midday, the sun's searing down on your back, your skin's burning because you're white. You're like, fuck, sunscreen, And then you go, maybe I'll go home, but then the voice in your head again goes, nah, fuck that, do it for the kitten, do it for the kitten. So you keep climbing, you get about 3/4 of the way up, right, and you grab a branch and it snaps, and you fall all the way down to the ground and land awkwardly on your ankle and you fuck it up like that, and you have to twist it back into place. You're like, right? And you go, that's it, last straw, definitely going home. But then as you do that, you see the kitten again, and the voice in your head again is like, nah, fuck that. That's the right answer. This is not a joke. I did that in Australia once. I was like, fuck that. And I went like this, and someone went, fuck that. Australia. Do it for the kitten, right? So you keep climbing, you climb again. This time you get all the way to the top of the tree, right? And you see the little kitten, and you go, oh, little fella. And you pick it up like this, slowly. And you go, don't worry, little guy. I've got you now, right? And you start to make your way down the tree. And as you do that, though, you slip and you fall. But this time you're holding the kitten, so you fall like this to protect it like that, right? And you go, and you land on the ground. And now you're lying in the ground, right? Your hands are cut up, your ankles are fucked, your skin's burning because you're white. But in the same voice in your head's like, you know what, though? It was all worth it. Because I saved this kitten. And I gave it a better future. And I know it's going to have a better life after this. And I did that for it. You know, it was me. And then you remember you've got food in your bag. So you go, you hungry, little guy? And it goes, meow. Right? So you put it down, and you get the food in your bag. And when you turn around, the kitten's like, I'm going to be an actor. And it runs back up the fucking tree. It's up there doing vocal warm-ups, like, I'm gonna be in Cats, fuck you! That's what it feels like. And dude, I went to drama school in 2010 as an Asian actor. Do you know how fucking ill-advised that is? This is before Shang-Chi, Crazy Rich Asians. This is before I could point to an Asian guy and be like, look, see, it's a career. I had no one to point to. You know, like, there were only 3 roles I could audition for after I graduated from drama school. 3 roles, here they are. There were extra on Grey's Anatomy, nerd in a commercial, and barista in real life. Like, those are the only roles. I remember when I told my parents that I was gonna go to drama school. I was so nervous. You know, I wasn't sure how they were gonna react. So I went up to my mom. I was like, Mom, I auditioned for drama school and I got in. And she was like, oh, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, I'll support you, okay. And she was supportive, but then later that night at dinner, like halfway there, she just like slid a pamphlet from med school through the table. And was just something for you to peruse, you know. And fanned herself with it like that. I remember when I told my dad, he was different, right? My dad reacted differently. I was like, Dad, I auditioned for drama school and I got in. What do you think? And he just went, oh, okay. Sure. And he just went really quiet and like closed up. But I was watching him like a hawk, and I could tell, looking in his eyes, all he wanted to do was be like, drama school? I'm sorry, did I work at a factory for 15 years of my life? Now I have RSI in my left hand just for you to learn how to do a packing monologue? To be or not to be or not to be homeless. Fuck you, go! You're not gonna be waiting for Godot, you're gonna be waiting for tables, go! But he didn't do that, you know. He kept it in. He was very, very stoic and quiet. And I went to drama school, and when I went there, I started doing plays and theater and shit. And as I did that, I also, on the side, did stand-up as well. And I did both at the same time. And what happened was they started coming to my shows and watching me, and they realized that I was happy doing what I was doing. And we both realized that, holy shit, we just want the same thing. You know, we just want for me to be happy. But the conflict was coming from the fact that we had different definitions of what happiness was. You know, like my definition of happiness was like, express myself and have a voice. You know, their definition of happiness was like, eat food, have a roof over your head. But when we realized we wanted the same thing, we fucking clicked. And they became my biggest fucking supporters, you know? And now they're like my biggest fans, and it's so beautiful, you know? Like, almost too much now. You're like, you know, like whenever they have guests at their house, my dad will just put on my stand-up on the TV without no one asking. Honestly, like they'll have like a prayer group having a prayer meeting. You know, they're just in the lounge or like, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And I'm on the TV like, what if I just send you a sex tape? Like, turn it off. But it's wild because as soon as that happened and we got on the same page, right, my fear morphed. It changed, okay? Because my fear went from my parents accepting my choices in my life and going to drama school, right, to them having to tell other immigrant parents that I was at drama school because I was scared the other parents would judge my parents and think they were failures. Because, I mean, you guys know this, like, immigrant parents love to do that thing where they show off each other's kids to one another like they're Pokemon. You know, like this. You know what I mean? They're like, look, I got the level 100 Jacob. The other mom's like, yeah, well, Edgar, I choose you. Use engineering, you know? Edgar's like, Edgar. Not very effective. Edgar fainted. That's true, man. That's how they show they love to you, immigrant parents, you know? They show you off. They're like, look, you know, they show you love that way. And they don't do it any other way. Like, they're not very affectionate physically, you know? I've realized this, right? Brown immigrant families, we don't hug as much. We don't. And look, I'm generalizing, I understand, I'm speaking on average, right? Because every time I say that, there's always like 3 white guys being like, I didn't get hugged either. All right, just like, we'll talk about it after the show, Jared, but let's just talk about I'm generalizing, but on average, brown immigrant families don't hug as much, you know? We don't. And like, I remember one time I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, how come we don't hug as much? And she's like, I give you dinner every night, that's your hug. I was like, okay. It's so warm. And then, don't get me wrong, we'll hug for like a special occasion, you know, like a birthday or like a funeral. You know, or one of your kids is an accountant now. But white people, man, you guys will just hug whenever, you know. It's beautiful. I'm so jealous of it. You guys just be like, hi, Dad. And your dad's like, ooh, what's this for? And you're like, I just love you. Fucking what? That's gorgeous. I can't do that shit. If I went up to my dad, I was like, hey, Dad. He'd be like, I'm not buying you PlayStation. Fuck off. You know, like. It's beautiful. And it's wild to me because I feel like immigrant families are all about family first. You know, family first, family over everything. But for some reason, we don't hug as much. And white people, you guys hug all the time, but you guys have put grandma in a nursing home like that. Like, you don't give a fuck. It's like 3, 2, 1. All right, Agnes, see you, bitch. Kick the fucking wheelchair. She's like, you're dead to me. I want to actually start a business. I've got a business proposition if there's any rich people here. I want to start a business where you can hire a white auntie to come and hug your brown kids at the family gathering. It would be great, you know? It would be called like Auntie Carol's Hug Service. It would be fucking awesome. Imagine this. I'm taking this shit to Shark Tank, you know? Like, imagine like you and your brown family's there at a party or a barbecue hanging out, you know? And then all the kids see like a car pull up in the driveway and it says on the car, Auntie Carol's Hug Service. And they're like, oh, fuck, Auntie Carol's here. Ah! And they all line up like communion at church, you know? Like, they're like, you know? You know, and they get to the front, they see Auntie Carol, they're like, Auntie Carol! And Auntie Carol's like, James, right? And she gives you a hug. She gives you like the whitest fucking hug. Just like she gives you a hug so white for the next 10 minutes you're 50% more employable. Just... And she's like, how are you? And you're like, I'm good, how are you? And she's like, I'm good too. And then she's like, remember, you can be whatever you want to be. Yeah, man. My grandparents lived with my family on and off, all the way up until they died. I say on and off because they also lived with my aunties and my uncles, so we had shared custody. I know that sounds like I'm doing a joke, but it did honestly feel like that. It felt like divorced parents trying to compete for the affection of, because all the families would compete to see which family my grandparents loved staying at the most. You know, to the point that whenever we would pick up my grandma from my Tito Boy's house, my uncle's house, my mom would always be like, so what did you do at Tito Boy's house? And my grandma would be like, we watched a movie. And my mom would be like, but did you watch a movie with ice cream? And she'd be like, yay! But they lived with us. They had nicknames, my grandma, my grandpa. We called them Mommy and Daddy, right? Which is just Mommy and Daddy, but with Filipino accent. Which for the Filipinos, that's the most Filipino shit of all time. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't remember the Tagalog word for something, just say it in the accent and you're good to go, you know? You're like, hey, how do you say refrigerator in Tagalog? You're like, refrigerator. Cool. Or Frigidaire, you know? Frigidaire. But yeah, man, I loved living with my mommy and daddy. I did. Because I learned so much living with them. They taught me so much. Like my daddy, for example, taught me that there's comedy in everyday life, right? That the best punchlines in the world are written by everyday people without even trying, you know? Here's how he taught me. So my daddy's favorite activity was betting on horse racing. Right, he loved it. And in New Zealand, we had a channel called Trackside, right, and which played horse racing 24/7, and you could call in and you just bet on the horses, and you could call in from your house, so you can lose your life savings from the comfort of your own home, right? It was amazing. And so my granddad loved that. Every day after school, into the night, he would sit in front of the TV like this, and his routine was sitting there, and to his right-hand side, he'd have this thing we used to call, do you remember this? A landline? Do you guys remember that? Old people. Yeah, we're old. Fuck yeah. Like, for the young people in here, imagine your whole family had to share one fucking iPhone, all right? So he would just sit there, right, and he would watch it, and his routine was this. Now, he called Trackside so often that he wouldn't even need to dial the number anymore. He would just press redial and would automatically call Trackside. All right, so his routine was he would sit, watch, redial, bet, lose. Watch, redial, bet, lose. Watch, redial, bet, lose. Right? He loved it. It was his favorite. I remember one night, I was sitting in the living room as well, and playing Game Boy on the couch, right, next to my granddad. He was doing his thing. He gets up halfway through and he goes, I'm just gonna go to the toilet, okay? Don't change the channel, okay? And leaves the room, right? He leaves the room. While he's away, my little sister comes back into the room, right? Like picks up the phone, calls her friend from school, right? Like waits like this. No answer, right? She goes, okay. Puts it back exactly where it was, leaves the room again, right? My granddad comes back into the room, right? Sits down, picks up the phone, presses redial, and just waits. And I'm sitting there watching all this play out, and I'm like, should I say something? But then the voice in my head's like, why would I rob myself of maybe the funniest thing that ever happened to me? Let's see how this plays out, right? So I just let it happen, let it play out, and so he's sitting there, right, and he's waiting. And I hear on the other side of the phone, I hear a little girl's voice go, hello, right? And here's the thing, when you call Trackside, you have to give your account number straight away to the person on the other side. So my granddad does that. He was like, 1 5 7 8 9 7 8. And on the other side, I hear the little girl go, ah! And then hang up. Because fucking of course you would, right? Because how fucking terrifying is that shit? Imagine being a 7-year-old girl, it's dark outside, the phone rings, you answer it, and on the other side, there's an old as fuck Filipino guy being like, 1 5 7 8. It's like the Filipino version of The Ring, you know? You're gonna get gout in 7 days, you know? Like it's So anyway, she goes, ah, right, hangs up. And my granddad's like, oh, right. And he's like staring at the phone, trying to work out what happened. He looks up at the TV. He looks up at the toilet. Like retraces the steps. He's like, "Came back here, sit down." And he just goes, redial 1, 5, 7, 9. And I'm sitting there watching this all happen, still not saying anything, just having the best fucking time of my life. Just loving it, you know? And anyway, this time another voice answers, but it's a different voice, right? It's an adult woman's voice, presumably my sister's friend's mum's voice, right? And she goes, hello, right? And my granddad again gives us account number, 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, right? And then the lady goes, sir, what do you want? What do you want? And my granddad, bless his soul, proceeds to place his bet on the horse race coming up. And you know how horse names are kind of fucked up? So he's like, Midnight Fun, Mother's Milk, and here she comes for a trifecta, please. And the woman on the other side's like, sir, what number are you trying to get? What number are you trying to get? And my granddad goes, $20. $20. And they do this for a full 5 minutes, like, what number are you trying to get? $20, $20, back and forth. Eventually the woman just snaps. She's like, sir, stop calling, right? Bang, and hangs up. My granddad's like, what? Right? He's like staring at it. And as he does that, my little sister comes back into the room again and goes, Daddy, can I please use the phone again? I need to call Michaela from school, right? Takes the phone, leaves the room. My granddad watches her leave the room like this. Like, eventually clicks as to what's just happened, right? And then looks over at me. At this point, I just start laughing hysterically. And he sees that, and he realizes I could have said something this whole time. And this is what I mean by everyday people write the best punchlines without even fucking trying, right? Because my granddad looked at me, looked deep into my soul, and just went, if I win, none for you. And he never won, so I never got anything. So joke's on me, right? It's my granddad, man. I miss him so much. Think about him all the time. So that's what my granddad, my daddy, taught me. My mommy, she taught me something else, right? My mommy taught me that the Philippines and our culture is run by women, right? It's matriarchal. Women run that shit. And whenever I say that, there's always some Filipino guys being like, nah, man, it's patriarchal, bro. We're in charge. Nah, bro, fuck, hell no. Women run the fucking country in the Philippines. And do you know how I know? Here's how I know, right? Because I feel like how little girls and little boys are treated when they come of age, right, are very different in the Philippines. And I think it's very indicative of who runs the country and who's in charge, right? Because if you're a little girl in the Philippines and you come of age, do you know what you get? Right? A debutante ball, like a full debut, right? Like people dress up in gowns and suits. 18 guys line up and like give you a rose and dance with you. It's like a quinceañera on crack, okay? If you're a little boy in the Philippines and you come of age, do you know what you get? Fucking circumcised. There's no dancing, there's no roses. It's just you with an old as fuck Filipino guy with a machete and he's like, look over there, put this in your mouth. Bah! You know, like... Is there more proof that women run the country than that shit? I'm circumcised. Don't look, I saw you look! He was like... I'm gonna see some proof, bro. I am, man. I'm circumcised. My brother down here. What's your name, bro? Joel. Joel, are you circumcised, Joel? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah? You're like, yeah. Fuck yeah. Joel's partner, what's your name? Is he? No. How old were you when you got yours done, Joel? When you were born? Oh, new school. Wow. Very new. Who else is in here? You're Filipino, bro? What's your name? Miles? Are you circumcised, Miles? Hell yeah, Miles. How old were you when you got yours done? Birth? Fucking who the fuck are these people? Yeah, we had a word for people who get it done in the Philippines when they get it done as a baby. Do you know what it was? pussy. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Thank you for your money. Thank you for your money. Thank you for your money. Thank you. You guys Filipino back here? Oo. Oh, puta. Okay, so sobrang Pinoy. Wow. Are you Filipino? Oo, bakit? Sino nagsabi sa'yo? Filipino ako. Puta na naman! Hell yeah, King. What's your name, Kuya? Roy? Kuya Roy? Hell yeah. How old were you when you got... Are you circumcised? Yes. How old were you when you got yours done, Kuya Roy? 12? Fuck yeah, King. Let's go! Me and you, boy. Okay, for those of you why this is a big deal, for those of you who don't understand, like the Westerners, because we do it differently in the Philippines, all right? Because I feel like in the West, people are like, hey, do it when they're a baby, you know, so they don't remember. But Filipinos are like, nah, fuck that. Do it when they're 12. And they have hopes and dreams and memories. And they have to sit in the second row of a comedy show and relive that shit. You can't see Kuya Roy's super chill now, but he's like a Vietnam fucking vet having flashbacks. He's like, no! Or the goddamn Winter Soldier being activated. This is wild too. This is just true. For the non-Filipinos here, let me put you on game. Let me fold you into our culture, teach you a little something. So this is true. In the Philippines, if you're not circumcised by the time you're 16, everyone in the fucking town will roast the shit out of you. That's true, right, Kuya? That's true. And do you know what they call you? Fucking support. It's non-Filipinos. Do you know what that means? It means fucking plastic bag. You know how crazy that is? Well, bro, imagine walking up to your white friends being like, plastic bag! Plastic bag! Okay. Got a few plastic bags here tonight. What's up? What's up, my boy? Yeah, man. I was 12 years old when I got mine done. And I'm about to tell you all about it. No refunds. I was 12, man. I was in New Zealand already when I got mine done, and I remember everything, man. I remember everything. I remember me and my family, we got into the family car, and we drove to the place where I was going to get it done. And I remember sitting in the car thinking it was going to be like a hospital or like a medical facility. But when we got there, it was just some guy's house. Oh, no, he was a doctor. He wasn't just some guy freelancing on Craigslist. Like, he was a doctor, and apparently what happened was he converted his spare bedroom in his house into a little clinic where he practiced circumcisions, right? Which, when I say it out loud now, is fucking weird, actually. It is, because, like, what if he wanted to sell the house? You know, what if he wanted to sell it? That means the real estate agent would have had to be like, okay, guys, and if you follow me to the end of the hallway, we've got the spare bedroom. And oh, fun fact, doubles as a cute little circumcision room. Okay, let's go check out the rest of the house. Chop, chop. Oh, chop. Also, if you were buying the house, would you want to know? You know what I mean? Would you want to know? Would you want to know your spare bedroom was haunted by the ghost of 1,000 foreskins? Anyway, I got to the place, and I met the guy, and he was really nice, really professional, you know. And he took me to the room that I was gonna get it done in, and he had the little like operational little, you know, clean table, like super clean everything. And I lied down, and I was too scared to look. I didn't want to look, so I just kind of looked away the whole time, like this, you know, looking away. And I remember the whole time as it was happening, I looked on his wall, and he had like a shelf, and he just had like all the kids' sports trophies from his kids' like school on the shelf. And I as it was happening, I was just staring at this trophy case the whole time. And now whenever I see kids' trophies in real life, like my dick just hurts. Like I just like you know in Harry Potter when he gets too close to Voldemort and the scar hurts? It's like that, you know. I'm just like, the Dark Lord. It's like that, you know. Anyway, I got the procedure done, and it went well, and for the lack of a better term, seamless. That's my favorite joke on the show. Fuck you. It finished, right? And then afterwards, I did the thing you're supposed to do. Because apparently what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to drive to the beach and go to the beach and take a little swim and do a little dip. Because apparently the salt water was good for the wound, right? I know. All the men in here, all you just became fucking innies right now. It's true, right? That's what you're supposed to do. So me and my family, we did that. We drove to the beach, and something you gotta know is I was sitting in the family car. I was wearing like my mom's dress, right? Because what you're supposed to do is not wear very tight-fitting clothes because it hurts, right? So you're supposed to wear loose, flowing clothes, and so I wore my mom's dress, which is what traditionally you're supposed to do. So I'm sitting there looking pretty as hell, right? In the car. Gorgeous. We drove to the beach, but here's the thing. When we got to the beach, we realized it was the middle of winter and it was too cold to swim, right? So my whole family fucking bailed on me, and what happened was I just went into the water on my own while my whole family watched me from the hill behind me like some weird fucking pagan ritual. Like just one Filipino kid walking out in a dress into the ocean while his whole family stand there holding candles like, Espiritu Santo, you know, like. And I just wandered out into the water, up to my knees, and I just dipped my dick up and down. Like a fucking dumpling into soy sauce, just up and down. Yeah, good luck getting that image out of your head next time you go to dim sum, all right? Up and down. And I dried myself off, and we got in the car, and we drove home, right? And we went home, and you know what's crazy? This is what's crazy, right? It fucking worked. It worked. It worked so well. In fact, it worked so well for like every time now, whenever I get like a cut on my arm, I will literally drive to the beach, and I'll dip my dick in the water. Works every time, you know? Roy, did you dip your dick in the water? Did you go for the swim in the ocean? No, you didn't? What about you guys? Did you go swim in the ocean? Where did you get yours done, bro? Here? At Comedy Bar? There? Oh, there's scissors there. Shit. Here in Toronto? So did you dip? Oh, you can't dip yours. You can't dip that shit in Lake Ontario. You can. You dip that shit in Lake Ontario. It comes up. He's got like 3 heads coming out. You're like, no! E. coli dick. Ah. Yeah, man. I think that's actually why I get really mad when I read comments online that are anti-immigrant, because I'm like, man, you don't know my family, you don't know my culture, you don't know anything about us. How you gonna get mad at us and pass judgment like this, you know? Like, and sometimes I read comments that are just like plain wrong and like inaccurate, and that annoys me. Like a comment I see online a lot is, why are we letting more people into our country when we're not even looking after our own people? You know, why are we letting more people in? We're not even looking after our own people. And I'm like, bro, who do you think is actually here looking after your fucking people? Or us. Like, you think your grandma's being kept alive by Charlotte or Samantha? No, it's Tita Bernadette, okay? Like, I guarantee your grandma's never eaten more rice in her goddamn life. Why do you think the nursing home room smells like adobo, okay? And when you leave, she's like, salamat. You're like, what the fuck? This is even more heartbreaking. Sometimes I'll see immigrants themselves buying into this rhetoric, and that makes me sad. Like, I have an uncle, I have a tito. He's always on Facebook saying the wildest shit. He's like, kasi, the problem is, there's too many immigrants coming here. Too many immigrants, oh. Look. And I'm like, where are we looking, tito? A fucking mirror? Like, you can't be anti-immigration if you pronounce it immigrant, okay? That's the rule. There's only one group of people that I'm okay with being anti-immigration, and I totally get, you know, and that's indigenous people, like native people. Like, if a native person came up to me and was like, hey, man, go back to where you came from, I'd be like, yep, fair enough. Sorry to bother you, sir. You know, But yeah, man. Sometimes, though, when I see comments like this on the internet, I have to stop myself. I have to go, you know what? There's no way that all these people are bad people. That's not how the world works, right? There's no way. Maybe what's happening is they don't know what the immigrant experience is actually like, and they don't know the struggles that a lot of immigrants go through, and so they cast judgment online. And the problem is, on the internet, whenever you try to educate someone or tell them about it, it comes off as like a wall of text, and it comes off like you're attacking them and shouting at them, and so people shut off. They don't fucking listen anymore. So I think what we need to do is find a way to teach these people about the immigrant experience by making it fun, you know? Fun, but educational, like Trojan horsing the learnings, you know? And I think I've come up with the perfect way to do this. I want you to go with me on this, okay? I want you to go with me. I think what we should do is build a theme park where the theme is the immigrant experience. It'll be great. It'll be like Immigrant Struggle Disneyland, you know? And the tagline could be like, the happiest place on earth, if you can get in. You know, and we'll make it fun, but educational, right? Educational. I love how everyone's assholes is ready. That's right, go with me on this. So we'll build a ride, right? We'll build a ride where you and your whole family like sit in a car like this, and you put the safety rail down. And when you do that, it goes, woof, and it twists into this dark, twisted funhouse ride, right? Halfway through, the lights just shut off, like, and then a voice comes on in the dark, and it's like, now, Dad, you have a choice. Stay in this car with your family that you love in this dead end, or leave them behind for 6 months in search of a better life and a better car for them. You have 2 minutes, go. And it's like, and your family's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, and eventually your dad's like, I'm leaving, right? And he leaves, right? And everyone's crying and fucking devastated in the cart. And that's called the emotional roller coaster. We'll build an arcade with games. Everyone loves arcades, right? And this arcade will have a claw machine full of visas. And it'll be a claw machine. You know when you don't win one in the main part, there's a consolation part where you're guaranteed to win one, and that one is like full of visas for countries that are perfectly fine and full of really nice people, but no one's really trying to go to. You know, you're like, oh, I won one. Zimbabwe, fuck. You know, like it's... Guess we're going. The arcade, there'll be a basketball machine. Everyone loves basketball machines, right? This one will be called a job interview basketball. Right? Job interview basketball. So what you do is you enter your name into the machine, and the more ethnic your name is, the further away the hoop moves away from you. And it's just like, sorry, Mahmoud, you've got a long shot. And the only way you can leave the park is to become an Uber driver. And that's the line. Everyone's like, that's actually why I got here tonight. Fuck you. 5 stars for Mahmoud. Yeah, man. There's a lot of challenges that immigrants face when you move. The biggest one's probably racism, obviously the obvious one, racism, right? And sometimes that manifests itself in very different ways. Sometimes very subtle, very quiet. Sometimes super in your face, obvious. Like, I remember when I was a teenager in New Zealand, me and my family were having a barbecue on the beach, right? And my whole family was there, our family, friends. And I was standing next to the barbecue with my friend's dad, kind of just like talking, you know. And maybe 10 meters away from us, these 2 young boys on a hill, maybe 10 or 12, pull up on bikes. Two young white kids pull up on bikes. And they start talking really loudly as if they wanted us to hear them talking, you know. And one of them looked at the other and went, what do you think they're cooking on that, right? And the other one turned to me and looked at me, and even louder, as if he really wanted me to hear it, just went, I don't know, probably dog or something, right? And I remember hearing that as a teenager and just like freezing, because I didn't know what to say. I was a little kid, and I just remember feeling really hurt, and I almost cried, you know. I was like just so angry at this kid, but I froze. And I looked at my friend's dad, because I wanted to see what he would do. And I remember looking at him, and he was trying to not let it affect him, you know, trying to be strong. But I could tell looking at his eyes, he was like watering up, like it really got to him. And I remember looking at him, and I'll never forget what it did next, right? Because he just took a breath, plastered a smile on his face, and he went, would you boys like to come join us for lunch, right? And whenever I think about this memory now, I'm always like, man, that really says a lot about the energy and the strength you need to be an immigrant sometimes, you know, to look at ignorance in the eye and take the high road and be the bigger person. Because if you lash out and you get angry, that's just going to give them more ammo to hit you with, you know, and it's going to label them as all immigrants as like angry or scary, right? And so it's so hard to have compassion for people who don't have compassion for you. And I just remember being like, fuck, my friend's dad is so strong for that. So he said, would you boys like to come join us, right? And the 2 boys looked at each other, laughed, and went, no, right? And biked off, and they left, and then didn't come and join us. And it was a real shame, because that barbecue labradoodle slapped. It was so good. Like, you know when the skin gets all crispy? You're like, like... And like, we had it on a spit rotating, you know? But instead of an apple in its mouth, it had a tennis ball. It was like... And the dog tag said muffin, but it tasted more like chicken. Listen, I understand that's a racist, problematic bit. And I understand it's a fucked up thing to say, okay? I get that. But do you know what's more fucked up? One of those two things actually happened, you know? Which one? I'll let you decide. Up to you. Yeah, man, racism manifests itself in different ways. Another one is dating. You know, I remember dating as an Asian guy in New Zealand. Wild, man. It was a wild experience. Like, I remember a couple years ago, before I met my girlfriend, I was on Tinder, right? And I was swiping away, and I came across this girl's profile on Tinder that said, sorry, no Asians or Indians, right? Bang. Yeah, wow, exactly, right? That was my first reaction, right? Actually, my first reaction was like, hang on, no Asians or Indians? Like, that's the same thing, you know what I mean? That's like going, sorry, no fruits or apples. What? But then my second reaction was like, hang on, does this girl know how Tinder actually works? Right? Because on Tinder, if someone comes up and you don't like them, what do you do? What do you do? Right? Swipe left, right? And you never have to see that person ever again. It doesn't even matter if that person said yes to you, right? You didn't match, right? So they can't fucking message you and harass you. This isn't Craigslist. You don't have to write what you don't want in your bio, okay? And if you think about it, actually, on Tinder, right, it's anonymous, okay? No one knows which way you're swiping. It's just you and your phone, you know? So if you really wanted to, on Tinder, you could be secretly racist. No one has to know, bro. No one has to know. You can just be in the privacy of your own home, next to the fire, holding a wine, being like, white power, bitch. Bah! You know, no one has to know that. But this girl still felt like she had to out herself and like tell everyone. And I was like, what did she think was gonna happen? You know, what did she think? Did she think that Tinder apps were gonna see her profile and be like, oh, well, why didn't you say so? Let me turn on Aryan mode for you, ma'am. Like. Like, you're trying to solve a problem that's not a problem in the first place. You know what I mean? That's like going to a restaurant and you're like, excuse me, waiter, can I please order the salad? And no olives. And the waiter's like, look, ma'am, there's no olives in the salad. It actually says it on the name right there. And you're like, yeah, I know, but no olives. And the waiter's like, look, ma'am, I get it. You don't like olives. You don't have to keep saying it. And you're like, oh, no. It's not that I don't like olives. It's just I don't want them in my neighborhood. You know, like, it's like... You know what's crazy is I have a queer friend of mine. He's a gay dude. He's a gay man, and he showed me apparently on Grindr, which is the gay version of Tinder. On Grindr, there's a version of no Asians or Indians. Okay, and he showed me. Brace yourself for this. On Grindr, apparently no Asians or Indians is no rice, no spice. How fucked up is that shit? You want to know what's more fucked up? When he showed me no rice, no spice, I wasn't as offended as I was when I saw no Asians or Indians. I don't know why. I think it's because it rhymes. But then I had to stop myself and to be like, no, that can't be true. Because if that's true, that means with me, you can get away with any fucked up idea as long as you make it rhyme. You know? That means if I was walking down the street and some guy came up to me and was like, midlife crisis, come join ISIS. I'd be like, okay. I fucking hate no rice, no spice so much, man. I hate it. It's so lazy. It's lazy. All you've done is you've taken the food from those two places and you made a hurtful rhyme about it to hurt someone. You know, that sucks, right? Like, I'd love it if it went the other way around, dude. Oh, my God. I'd love it if there was a Chinese guy on Grindr who was like, I always say no to mashed potato or something like that. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how can we be more compassionate towards each other, you know, and both ways, because I'm trying to understand why these people have these opinions about immigrants. Like, what led them to believe this about immigrants? Because that didn't come from nowhere. They got told that, you know. And because the more I agonize and stare at these comments online, the more that I realize that I don't think I'll ever be able to change how these people feel about immigrants. And I think maybe the best thing I can do is share my family story in the hopes that maybe they can understand where we're coming from and we can reach some sort of middle ground, you know? And I think my family story can be summed up by this one memory that I hold on to very dearly. And it's being a little kid, sitting in the back seat of a family car, the shitty, beat-up Honda. It's the only car we could afford at the time when we moved. Well, my dad sat in the front, and we both waited for my mum to finish her shift at her third job at the nursing home. And every night we would wait, we'd sit there and we'd listen to the Carpenters' Greatest Hits album, right? And now whenever I hear that album, that music, it brings me right back to the seat. It's like I'm there in the memory again. And it fills me with warmth and gratitude. And it's crazy because when I think about this now, it hits very differently, this memory. Because as a kid, all I wanted to do was go home. It's like, Dad, let's go, how much longer? But now when I think about it, I think of how tired my dad was. And I remember how exhausted my mum was when she entered the car and how much comfort that music brought them as we were driving home. And again, warmth and gratitude. Because it brings me back to this idea of expectation versus reality, right? Because like I said, before I came to New Zealand, I was expecting like this haven and this paradise that I feel like I never really got. But when I think about this memory, I'm like, man, maybe I did get that, you know, but not in the form of trees and cows and streams you can drink water from, but in the form of the sacrifices my parents made for me that allowed me the privilege to stand here and express myself and do this. Like my parents left their life, their friends, their family, just so I could stand here today and tell you about that time a guy cut part of my dick off. Like they did that for me. So I guess if I could say something to these people in the comment sections, this is what I would say. I understand that your life is difficult right now. Things are expensive, and it's scary, and a lot of the times it is very overwhelming. But don't lose sight of the fact that immigrants are just like you. They have hopes and dreams, aspirations. They're people, right? They're not just numbers, and they're not the source of your problems, despite the fact that people in power are gonna tell you that for their own personal gain. Don't get caught up in that. And when people move to a new country, dude, 99% of the time, it's never malicious, okay? Like, my parents were never like, ooh, I can't wait to steal a job from a guy named Gareth. Like, it wasn't like that. They just wanted the best for our family. And at the end of the day, all immigrants want, just like you, is to have their new home look at them and say, remember, you can be whatever you want to be. Thank you guys so much.
Looking out from the window seat, wondering what your words got for me. About to enter your atmosphere, embrace the change and feel the fear. Outside turns bright, stars disappear. We're here. Spaceship full of food from where we're from. How do you say love in your mother tongue?
It's so nice to be here in New Zealand. The air is so fresh. The water's so clean. The cows in New Zealand eat fresh green grass, and their milk becomes anchor milk. Alisa!
I love you, Mom.
Anchor milk, pure and fresh from New Zealand. Anchor milk guaranteed by New Zealand Dairy Board.
Got a spaceship full of food from where we're from. Your from where we're from. Loving your mother tongue. Got a spaceship full of food from where we're from. We come in peace. We come in peace.
Thank you so much for coming out, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, Gatsby. Yeah, maybe if I had it all figured out then I wouldn't have to go through life wishing I was 10. Like, turn back the clock, I'ma do this shit again. Start from the beginning, pay no mind to the end. Fresh face on the timeline, maybe. You remind me why you damn fine, baby. Thousand things I wanna do. First one is forget about you. Looking for my cowgirl in her Levi's, who can drink me under tables till the sea dry. Yeah, I've been dreaming of you and I realize never folding under pressure, baby, reach high. Snap your fingers and do your step, and you could do it all by yourself. Let me see you go. Numb, full of heartbreak, make a